Good day, gentlemen. So good to see you guys again after quite some time. Rassie, give us how's it been so far? I mean, a week and a bit out from the Barbarians game.
That's me? Yeah, okay. No, thanks. Good morning, guys. Thanks for being here. You'll hear most of the guys here after 2 weeks in their work. We all got a bit of a sore throat. Yeah, we actually just first of all maybe to give an update on the injury side of things. Those guys are all on programs that we mentioned last week. Peter Steftotoe we'll see in Cape Town next week and see where he is. But from the other guys that stayed here, we're really happy with how they progressed. It was a bit of a challenge when the Bulls guys came in on Monday night. We had to change the program a little bit where some coaches just sat with them for them to catch up what we missed, including Arnold Pollard. And then yesterday the guys did fitness test, not medical fitness test, but fitness test, which the other boys did last week already. Now from Thursday tomorrow, we're all on the same program. Yeah, so we can now judge or compare apples with apples.
Hands up.
Coach Rassie, just looking at the Barbarians game, obviously we know it's an all-around the park game. What are you looking to take out of that to match, and obviously giving a couple of new guys some game time?
Yeah, no, I said it last week, it's a bit of a slippery game, but it's an ideal game, and we wanted the game, and we wanted to play against the Barbarians. You know, we're a team that love to analyze the opposition, individual players. We will always do that, and Felix plays a massive role in that, and finding out how exactly we think the opposition's strength and weaknesses are. Obviously, you can't do this with the Barbarian team, but there's individuals, and it will also be very late when they announce those individual players. I know when we coach them. So, and the thing is, then they get together, and you know, you tell them, play what you see, enjoy yourself. And now, if you give them bad pictures, they'll rip you apart. So we will obviously try and play really structured our way and get through the game without some mental scars, because that's normally something that happens if you're also in the Barbarian mindset.
Okay.
Rassie, just following up from that, I mean, obviously it's a game that some people would almost call it friendly, but given what you said about not being able to analyse, is it also maybe a little bit of a valuable learning experience for the guys to be able to be adaptable on the field and just change things, you know, as things happen?
No, without a doubt. And I must say, between Felix and obviously Tony does the attacks, but Felix attacks. Robert does his attacks. Felix, you know, support us a lot with and every single department. You know what? The two of them, between hard work and getting your fundamentals right, and between Tony, you know, really pushing the guys hard in terms of seeing opportunities, play the right time with freedom, but don't play yourself into a hole that everybody must suffer because of you tried a few things. So it's all about how we coach that together. And just on the attack side, you've always got Felix and Tony, Felix supporting Tony. So yeah, that's why the specific game, there's not a lot on defense to analyze, so we can focus a hell of a lot on our own guys.
Felix, can you just elaborate on how the role has been for you since you returned?
Yeah, it's been really exciting, I would say, is the first thing, and getting to work with some of the coaches that I've really strong relationships with, and learning a lot from some of the ways that we've evolved. And I think if you look at the way the Springboks have played from 2019 to 2023, how much the team changed and evolved over that time, and immediately even coming back in now, you can see that evolvement is continuing. And I think it's one of the great strengths that this group doesn't like to just stand still. They're constantly looking to improve. So that's been the most exciting part about coming back in, is that there's been an evolvement, and getting back in amongst it is really exciting.
Yes, hello, a question for Sia. I asked already to Rassie last week, in less than 1 week it would be the 30 years of the 1995 World Cup. As to you, how rugby changed in 30 years in your country, if you have a point of view?
Yeah, I was for it, but obviously I've seen videos and I've seen the impact that it's done, not only in rugby but in South Africa in general. We all know. I think that's why people look up to the team, or look to the team so much, because of what happened in 1995, and I think it also started the winning for South Africa in difficult circumstances, and it also showed the spirit of South African people, especially when the one game was going to get cancelled, how people find ways to make sure that the field was right for people to play. And I think the way this team is today, I think the way it represents South Africa, I think many of the people that wanted, things to move forward in South Africa will be very proud of how it's been. And I think we don't take for granted what we get to do, and it's changed in a way that everybody's trying to get access to rugby and make it easier in communities. And I've seen it where I come from. I come from a rugby playing community. Kids are excited. The Eastern Cape, the kids are excited. They want to play the sport, and it's growing more and more. And I think, it's been great that people feel represented in the team, which is amazing.
And then Rassie, is there concern about issue forms after the URC final?
Issue forms? Form issues?
Form issues.
Form issues, yeah.
Sorry.
Every team get coached differently, and we've got just the angle that we do in South Africa as national coaches. When guys come to us, Baron Peters with us, Cash of the Lions was with us, Plum and the guys are next week with us. So if we can share ideas on a regular time, we would worry. But we don't put pressure on those guys to play guys in certain positions, to play certain styles. That's why we have the alignment camps, and just to make sure the guys still know what we expect at Springbok level, and when they hear what they will have to change. So we never take them on the field prior to the physical training camp that we had now. So it's very difficult to judge a guy like Ethan Hooker, who plays wing for the Sharks, and they've got a certain defense system, but we see him as a 13. And we want to use him as a 13. So I think it's a healthy situation. Things comes out like Jan Hendrik. We were hoping we'd only play Lucet, and now we can play Lucet for us, but he can also play hooker. So we leave it, and then that Bulls team, their record actually, they had at one stage that 16-17 Springboks in the squad, and we were totally outplayed in the last game, but we know those players are all in sync, and they haven't have travelled and had the tough thing, and one or two things. The first scrum didn't 100%. They were surprised, and the guys got them. So it's tough to be worried because of franchise level, because you just don't have the detail on what they're exactly doing there.
Skipper, can you just comment on just the significance or the impact of what the Proteas did in London last week, and what that moment can do to a complicated country like ours?
Proteas.
Oh, the Proteas. I thought you said protest.
No, I was actually asking.
Okay, thank you. I thought you said protest.
Which one? No, I think it's huge. I know it's big. I know it's huge for the country. I mean, we saw the reactions of people in South Africa, of all of us as South Africans. I think one thing about South Africans, whenever South Africans is fighting or representing South Africa, people get behind them, and we know it's been a tough journey for the Proteas, not only in the one-day games, but also with test match. And to do something like this was huge, and the manner that they did it, with all the noise that was going on around them, that they've only played a few tests and all the other countries deserve to be there. They just played, and it looked like they weren't going to do it in the first couple of days. And the great thing about it was a team effort. There's not even one particular person that stood in. I mean, Lungi struggled the first innings, and then he came back, the second one. Kagiso was amazing, and Aiden obviously got 0 in the first inning, and he fought his way through, and I think that showed a lot of who we are as South Africans. And I'm proud of Temba too. I'm really proud of Temba. He's went through a tough period where he got a lot of criticism because he couldn't get runs, and South African people are proud that and they're very passionate about the country, and he took it well. He could have given up, but he carried on fighting. It showed when his hamstring was sore. I mean, his career kind of went the same way. He fought through it and did the best he could, and now he's there. So we are proud of them, and we support them, and we did with the coach. They came to do some to visit us as a team, and that was great. So it's always good to see South Africans win, and hopefully this is only the first one, and many more are coming forward.
Now, Kobus, I think also
Rassie, if you look at the season as a whole, are you concerned that games against Barbarians, good test against Italy, and then the one against Georgia won't be ideal preparation for the Rugby Championship?
No, I think it'll be a slap. Obviously, a lot of people will just assume that, but it will be a slap in the face for those guys, you know. I mean, the Barbarians, when we played for them, we beat Argentina. There were a lot of Springbok players in 2018, so we actually knew each other really well. But the names I'm seeing in this Barbarian team is really a great test to get some guys in. So it will be tough enough, you know, and it's in Cape Town, there's no altitude, I know what the weather will be like. So they'll be having a little bit more breath as well, or endurance as well. But then, you know, Italy, what we've analysed, you know, they stayed in the fight in those first two games when they played in the Six Nations, and the defence was really good. I know they left a few youngsters at home, but it also puts us in a position where we can see that we drive our own standard, you know, we worry about ourselves, and if you're a little bit off, I can remember when Italy beat South Africa, you know, and I remember what that feeling is like, so we'll be very, very worried about not falling into that trap. And then just to Georgia, the last one, I think what we determine our standards is training, and how much we can put ourselves in training into those long, hard minutes which happen in the test match game. We're trying to simulate that a lot through his coordinating with the S&C coaches and the attack and defense coaches. So hopefully our training is never as good as a match. And then the matches we think we will tough. So I don't think it's a big problem.
Rassie, do you ever give thought to possibly resting a few of the senior guys for, you know, the start of the season? I know it's ridiculous to think of resting guys when it's international season, but, you know, with our unenviable year-long season that a lot of these guys go through, and some of their loads that guys like Sia, Irvin, Andre have over, you know, the year. Did you ever sort of think about maybe giving those guys a bit of time off now? And are you in contact with SA Rugby in how to sort of try and not get the guys to burn out, you know, ahead of that 2027 World Cup?
Yeah, let me maybe address the first one where, you know, it's between the franchises, the franchise CEO and my players, the players union, to, you know, discuss when the players should get rest. I think the biggest thing, you know, we can't control when the Sharks must do it, or the Bulls or the Lions or so on must do it. But at the end of the day, there is a specific window where it must happen. That's why we send some guys back now who was maybe not in our planning. That's why we're only 45, because you want that guy to get his rest now while trying to stay fit, because they need a certain amount of weeks off. But how many games can a player play in a year? Yeah?
16.
No. You've played?
In total?
Total.
Oh, 26.
26, so.
Including the international.
And you've played so far?
I don't know. Not a lot.
Well, but I mean, there's very few guys that go over that 28 match or 26. Is it 28 or 26? 26 matches in a year. So they train a lot, but if you miss out on a quarterfinal, semi-final, and not play in the final, you know, there's very few of them that they're not allowed to go over 26 games. So last year, I think you could see we were managing playing this team, singing this team home. So, but first we must have to start to win. Then we can think about those things.
Nathan? English?
English. Coach, just looking at even Elizabeth this season, was it worrying that he spent a lot of time just on the sidelines? Is that also again, you know, look at the likes of leaders, is it a concern for the older guys, you know, when they spend time on the sidelines picking different sort of injuries?
You know, is there a specific player to mention or a lot?
Even.
Oh, Evan. Yeah. No, Evan obviously, yeah, I think Evan played 7 matches this whole year so far. You can go and check it out correctly, but I think it's 7 matches. So he's definitely well rested, if I can call it that way. But the biggest thing is now for us to make sure that, you know, we handle that concussion 100% right. So yeah, you know, we've got really good depth in the lock in Jean Klein and Ergie and probably the front rock. You know, Ruan, Franco, Lood, Kobus Visa can play there, Vincent can play 4, Vincent to not Vincent. So not pushing even too early is not tough to do. We'll really manage him well. So let's say.
He's well rested.
Well rested, yeah, he's well rested.
Rassie, just quickly on the Proteas, with Shukri having spent time, or with his management having spent time with the Springboks prior to their departure, do you think you had influence in emphasizing belief and just making them believe that they can go all the way in the World Test Championship?
No, I think the nice thing about, if you're a national coach, whenever we played, we would WhatsApp, and I think just the fact that they're there with us inspire us, because they sat there and they listened to our sessions, and it's not the case that they learn from us. We're just sharing environments, and they face the same kind of pressure, well, maybe more of attack. We had the same in 2018, 2019 when we went to the World Cup, and no, we were certainly not instrumental on their results. It's just I think they can see our excitement for them, and we can see their excitement for us, and that makes you proud. That's why you watch every single game, every single ball that was bowled there, and you almost see the guys' emotions, and you can kind of relate to that. So I think it helps us in our hearts more than it helps us technically and tactically. And I don't think there was some other thing that we played a role in that. They just really did flip and well.
What would your message just be to the team and Shukri?
No, the only thing the South Africans want at the end of the day, what you do during the week, and they play during the week as well, but what you do in training sessions and your social media and those things, rugby don't know who you is. I mean, cricket and rugby doesn't know who you is. So when you go out there and you fight like that, I mean, we've experienced that's the only thing that South Africans really want to see. They want to see you never give up and go till the end and win. That's the thing that impressed me the most. Because I think it's lonely there in the middle sometimes when everybody's looking at you. I've never been in that situation. So we're very proud of them.
Last question, Ross.
Sia, how's the feeling in the group at the moment? At the start of as the season's about to get going, you guys have had very successful last couple of years, with the World Cup, Rugby Championship last year, unbeaten end of year tour. So how's the feeling in the group at the moment? And are the guys really hungry to have another very successful season? And personally, on your front, are you looking forward to a game in your hometown again after a while?
We're excited. Honestly, we're excited for the season, and we're excited to be back in camp. That's number one. I think for a lot of us, I think almost all of us who've been here before, it's tough when we say goodbye at the end of the season, and we know playing here is not forever. Somewhere along the line it's going to end. I think we appreciate it a whole lot more when you come back. And when you see a guy like Lord after such a long time, and it's special, and the hugs are just different. I don't know how to explain it. When I saw him and he's punching me, I'm like, why are you? I'm excited to see you. I'm like, yeah, but relax, calm down, and he greets everyone with a smile on his face, because he knew what it's like, how it feels when you're not here for that bit. And that's what the kind of environment that the management, we see them like that, how they joke with one another, and the stuff that they do, and that just leads us to us to play. So it makes it like a proper family, it makes it a safe space for a lot of us, and that's why we're able to work that hard. That's why they're able to push us on the field, and it is hard training at this rate. It feels like you haven't played all season long. When you come here and you train, you look at the numbers that you get on the field in such a short amount of time. It's really amazing, and we're looking forward to the season. We're not thinking so far. We're trying to get through tomorrow. The trainings are as hard as games sometimes, or even harder at times. The guy Felix is back. He's always on our case there, shouting when you do the fitness test, pushing you to get yourself there, and you try and get there, and you're dead by the end of this, and you did well. That's all they want from us. Just give your best at all times. Don't worry about mistakes. The mistake, nobody makes a mistake on purpose. So that kind of, you play with safety as well, but the thing is they want us to play this intensity, but they train us to get there. That's the nice thing. That's why, I really enjoyed being here, and it's good to be back in the Eastern Cape as well. I know people are hungry for events and things to happen, and we know how much stuff from culture has to come from there. It's full at the airport already when we get there, because people love rugby in the Eastern Cape, and I have no doubt it's going to be full on the weekend. Hopefully You know, it will be a great atmosphere, of course, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing some old friends. So yeah, hopefully more events can happen in PE or the Eastern Cape, should I say? Yeah.
Any last question for Felix before we switch to Afrikaans and Xhosa?
Please.
You've obviously worked with the English environments, park environment. What are the difference and similarities between both the environments?
Yeah, good question. I think the similarities are that the players are all extremely driven at this level. Anyone that's playing international rugby has gotten there because one, they're talented, and then two, because they've got a work ethic and an approach to how they conduct themselves, and so there is a lot of similarity in that respect. I think probably the biggest difference with South Africa, in my experience, is the diversity with which we call upon people. So people from all over different parts of the country, from different backgrounds, that are playing rugby in different countries, younger guys, older guys. So I think that's probably the biggest difference, is that we were able to draw upon all those sources, if I can call it like that, and trying to boil it down and get it down to one thing is also a challenge, but it's also one of the great strengths, that when you get it right, it can be quite special. But yeah, that would be the biggest difference.
Okay, Afrikaans en Xhosa.
Rassie, net in terme van die squad se grootte, en obviously julle het 'n paar spelers ingebring die laaste seisoen of twee. Ouens soos Sia, Eben, ouens 'n bietjie ouer word, nou die denke tot die volgende wêreldbeker. Wat is julle denke agter die squad building en ouens sufficient game time vir die volgende seisoen? Ek weet coach het laas al gesê dat julle obviously van die jaar af gaan begin om die squad 'n bietjie te finaliseer. Wat is julle denkwyse om in die volgende 2 jaar te gaan?
Ja, natuurlijk, dit is ook om ons 45 jaar, dus 2 spanne, 23, 46. Nee, so dis 2 spanne, eigenlijk, en dit maak training sessions makkelijk, ons kry genoeg ingeswap en repetities daar. Die ding van ouens het ons al uitgekry, dus baie keer wil jy net ou se karakter leer ken, en jy wil net gemakkelijk maak in die team environment, dat hy nie daar sit, en hy wil net nooit dinge verkeerd doen nie. So, dis wat ons hard gewerk het, dis kom ons verskeie ouens na die alignment kampe toe genooi het, of beleidingskampe, want sommige van hulle het ons glad nie geken nie. Ook soos Renzo het ons nie geken nie, weet Mekaza het ons nie geken nie, en Renzo was al by 'n kamp, maar ons weet hoe ou soos Marco was, en hulle was weg bijvoorbeeld met die Bulls game. Jy weet wat ou en sekere spelers het, so dit was die eerste ding. Nou die tweede ding is, nou is ons op die veld, nou kan ons sien, maar ook jy verstaan alles, hy het te lekker, hy is 'n spanman, kom ons kyk hoe gaan hy nou op die veld, en die oefening en die goeders, en dan bou ons al een roadmap vir hom. Ons dink ek in moontlik in die game speel, is dinge according to plan gaan. En dan die hoofding is, wen hierdie jaar kom hopelik in 'n goeie posisie in die wêreldrugby log vir die draw wat aan die einde van die jaar is, en hopelik is daar's 14 games currently 100% bevestig, en of 13, ek sê, as ons 2 wat nog 100% bevestig is nie, maar dit beteken, as ons in die ouer manne 6-7 toetse in kry, en dan in die medium en jonger manne ook elkeen so 6-7 toetse kan kry, en dieselfde doen volgende jaar, dan behoort ons genoeg diepte te hê vir die World Cup.
Rassie bied hoor vette wat inkom, wat nog glad nie enige kamp was of enige iets nie. Die nodigheid om in te bring om om hom aan te pas by so omgewing. Ek sê met groot bote sit en alles.
Ja.
Die laaste daai moet kom is dit nie van uitdaging.
Ja, jy is 100% reg, en dis hoekom hy waarskynlik eers as hy regtig oor vir die Georgia game oorweeg sal word. Want eerstens, soos ek sê, ons het nou 2 loskoppe, om ek kan Hendrik en Ox is nou hierso. En dat ons vir Vincie en vir Thomas en vir Vincie en Asenati en Wilco en de Kaapse Slommers. Neerklank, wat vastkop kan speel. So, ja, Boon is oukie wat, ons weet wat ons verwag van ou in skrams, en dan profiel al die spelers wat hy in die wêreld na kyk, dan ons weet wat ons wil leer loskop moet doen in general play, en wat ons wil doen by die breakdown, en hoe sy morning en lijnstande, en jy weet wat ons nou van hom gesien het daar so, is in ons ken hom van die junior structures af, soos hy deur die ligas gekom het. So ja, ons het al 'n paar manne rowwe kans opgevat. Ek dink hierdie is een van die minder groot kanse, want ons is redelik seker hier ou gaan dit maak.
Ja, Rassie, pikir badlali tonyaka batsha. Ithini badlala abafana njengoNtokozo oChithuka. Ukhe wathatha nabo kunyaka?
Yeah, no, sebavuyela kakhulu. I think ucoach ehlobo phila ngalo iyakwazi ureward abantu abenza kahle isizini. UNtokozo ihlobo leli ngalo Casting Club. Dayazi kakhulu ngoba nje belapha kwisystem and usebenze kakhulu ufika kwakha ecampaign. And zonke players fukayo sinento ezinayo and inhle lalo umthatha iplan Basel Club iyabonisa loo nto leyo noma udlala lapha coach wethu jongile, so yeah, into enhle ukubona and encourage sisancokola nabo.
Last two questions, Brendan, and then we're done.
Rassie, netwerk belang, jy kan gepraat oor jy weet hy gaan het maak, maar hoeveel van daai is beïnvloed die feit dat hy amper kan kwalifiseer vir Skotland ook en het dit ingekom in die proses?
Nee, weet jy, ons het regtig gaan kyk wie is die volgende loskop, want obviously kids die verloor, het klaar gemaak en ons gedink op eigen bietjie dieper langer gaan. Obviously Gerard is 'n bit van unknown, hulle was seker saam met ons 3 top loskoppe. En nou Thomas is nie meer 'n baby nie, maar hy kan loskop kan speel, hy speel vaskop ook. So ja, die indruk is nou nie hierdie ervare toetspeler nie. So ons het eintlik net vir Ox. So wat is jou vraag rondom dit nou geweet?
Ja, dat hy miskien vir Skotland.
Nee, dit is glad regtig geen invloed nie. Ek bedoel ons weet jy, dit is vir ons veel lekkerder as ons sien hoe ouetjies soos Doan van der Merwe speel vir Skotland, want hy sou teen 20 by ons kans gekry het. So hoekom sê jy ouetjie? Nee, ons doen dit glad nie om hom te blok om by hulle te speel.
Final question.
Questo strong man, un camato a coglioniata, a poggiare con i shots, se va buona pena usare, una partita con la poco coglioniata,
Und ja, also ich habe auch von das Außen nur bei 18. No, that's a no.
I hope he plays. No, we can certainly. He's a nice option for us. And like Kwacha said, 6 and 8 for us, you know. Got Evan there, you know, Jasper is close to getting ready. Marco played a lot of 8 there, so it's more the 6th position that's why we had Renzo here, but with him, Marco and Kwacha. And you know, Jean-Luc is still there, you can play 8th man and 7th flanker for us as well. So I think mostly at 6.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.